Story 1. The Sleepover in the Abandoned House. It was a Friday night, and my friends, Rachel and Mike, had convinced me to join them for a sleepover in the infamous abandoned house on the outskirts of town. The rumors surrounding the house were plenty, whispers of ghostly apparitions, unexplained noises, and mysterious lights that flickered in the dead of night. But we didn't believe any of it. We were skeptics, convinced that the house was just an old, creaky building with a bad reputation. As we approached the house, a chill ran down my spine. The house loomed before us, its windows like empty eyes staring back. We laughed it off, attributing our nervousness to the creepy atmosphere. We entered the house, our flashlights casting eerie shadows on the walls. The night wore on, and we explored every nook and cranny, daring each other to knock on doors or rattle chains. But as the hours passed, the atmosphere began to shift. Creaks and groans sounded like footsteps, and the wind outside seemed to carry whispers. We started to feel like we weren't alone. It began with small things. A door creaking open by itself, a faint scratching noise in the walls. We tried to brush it off as the house settling, but deep down, we knew something was off. Then we heard our names: Rachel, Mike, and Emily, whispered softly but unmistakably. We froze, our hearts pounding in unison. Suddenly the lights flickered, and the room plunged into darkness. We huddled together, our breathing ragged. That's when we heard the footsteps. Heavy, deliberate footsteps, coming from upstairs. We knew we had to get out of there. Fast, we grabbed our stuff and made a dash for the door, but it was stuck, like something was holding it in place. The footsteps grew louder, and we knew we were running out of time. That's when I saw it. A figure, standing at the top of the stairs, watching us. We screamed, and the door creaked open by itself. We didn't look back, didn't stop running until we were blocks away from the house. We didn't speak a word until we reached Rachel's car, parked safely outside. As we drove away from the abandoned house, I glanced back in the rearview mirror. The house stood tall, its windows still like empty eyes staring back. I knew then that some secrets were better left unexplored, and some houses were better left abandoned. Story 2. The Sleepover in the Dead Girl's Room. We were all excited for the sleepover at Emily's house. She was having a party to celebrate the start of summer break, and everyone from school was invited. But what made this sleepover different was that Emily's older sister Jessica had died in her bedroom a year ago, and Emily had decided to have the party in that very room. At first, everyone was hesitant, but Emily assured us that her parents had given their permission, and it would be fun. We set up the room with sleeping bags, snacks, and games. As night fell, we started telling scary stories, trying to freak each other out. But as the hours passed, strange things began to happen. Doors creaked open and shut on their own, and the lights flickered. We tried to brush it off as the old house settling. But then we started hearing whispers, soft, faint whispers that seemed to come from all around us. It sounded like someone was saying, "Get out." We were all scared, but no one wanted to be the first to leave. Then, we saw the ghostly figure of a girl standing in the corner of the room. She was wearing a white dress, and her eyes were black as coal. We froze, paralyzed with fear. The girl started to move closer, her eyes fixed on us. We screamed and screamed until our voices were hoarse. When the police arrived, they found us huddled together in fear. Emily's parents were shocked, and they called for an ambulance. We were all taken to the hospital, shaken and traumatized. When we returned to school, we never spoke about that night again. Some say the ghostly girl was Jessica, come back to haunt us. Others say it was just our imagination. But one thing's for sure, we'll never forget that terrifying sleepover in the dead girl's room. Story 3. The Sleepover of Lost Memories. Lily invited her closest friends to a sleepover at her grandparents' old mansion, which had been vacant for years. The mansion had a mysterious reputation, but Lily assured us it was safe. As we settled in, strange things began to happen. Doors would slam shut, and we'd find ourselves in rooms we'd never seen before. One by one, we started losing our memories. Sarah forgot her favorite song, Emily couldn't recall her mom's face, and I forgot my own name. Panic set in as we realized we were losing our identities. We searched the mansion for answers, but found old photographs with our faces, but our names were different. The night descended into chaos as we struggled to hold on to our memories. We became trapped in a labyrinth of forgotten moments and unfamiliar faces. Somewhere in the darkness, I remembered a single phrase. Don't trust Lily. But was it a memory or a warning? When the sun rose, the police found us wandering the mansion, confused and scared. Lily was nowhere to be found, and our memories slowly returned. We never spoke about that night again, but the question lingered. What happened in that mansion? And who was Lily really? Story 4. The Sleepover of the Forgotten Tape. We snuck into the old cabin on the outskirts of town, rumored to be haunted by the ghost of a former owner, Mr. Jenkins. The cabin was said to be filled with mysterious tapes that Mr. Jenkins had recorded before his disappearance. Curious, we decided to explore and see if we could find any of the tapes. As we dug through the dusty shelves, we stumbled upon an old cassette labeled "Do Not Play." Our curiosity got the better of us, and we popped the tape into the player. At first, there was static, but then a voice spoke, eerily calm and collected. It was Mr. Jenkins's voice, and he was telling a story about the cabin and a dark presence that lurked within its walls. As the tape played on, the voice grew more and more agitated, warning us to leave the cabin before it was too late. Suddenly, the tape stopped, and the cabin fell silent. We laughed, thinking it was just an old recording, but then we heard footsteps. Heavy, deliberate footsteps coming from upstairs. We tried to flee, but the doors were stuck and the windows wouldn't budge. The footsteps grew louder, and we knew we were trapped. That's when the lights flickered, and Mr. Jenkins's voice whispered, "You shouldn't have played the tape." We never made it out of that cabin, and the next morning, the police found the tape still playing, with our screams recorded over Mr. Jenkins' voice. Story 5. The Sleepover of the Mirror's Secret. We arrived at Rachel's grandparents' old mansion for a sleepover, excited to explore the creepy hallways and abandoned rooms. As we settled in, we stumbled upon an antique mirror with an eerie glow. Rachel, being the thrill-seeker, decided to make a wish in front of the mirror, as her grandmother had told her was a family tradition. As soon as she made her wish, the mirror's surface rippled like water, and Rachel's reflection began to distort. She smiled, but her eyes turned black. We were shocked, and when we looked closer, Rachel's reflection was no longer hers. It was a twisted version with a malevolent grin. We tried to step back, but our feet felt heavy, as if rooted to the spot. The reflection began to whisper Rachel's name, and she started to respond. We grabbed her, trying to pull her away, but she was drawn to the mirror, as if under its control. One by one, we felt an irresistible pull towards the mirror, our reflections warping and twisting. We were sucked into the glass, trapped in a world of distorted reflections. The last thing I remember is Rachel's scream, and then everything went black. The next morning, the police found us lying in front of the mirror, our eyes wide open, our faces frozen in terror. Rachel was never found, and some say she's still trapped in the mirror, her reflection forever twisted. The mirror was never seen again, but the legend of its dark power lived on.